here we are, the Mighty Dash and I, high in the Himalayas at Lukla, where no dash should be, but this one managed to get in. We are going to Paro in Bhutan, just a short hop away. We are actually not going to take off from this airstrip as much as we are going to launch ourselves down the mountain and pick up enough speed to essentially fly. But we're actually going to put ourselves kind of into free fall, so this should be fun. Anyway, we've put in as little, just as little fuel as we possibly can. We have no passengers. I'm going to take off with full flaps, which should be interesting. And there really is no instrument departure procedure for here, and I can't find a chart with an obstacle departure procedure, so just reset our chronometer here. We're basically going to make a left turn. Our course takes us back this way, but that would take us right into the mountains. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to fly out along this valley and then gain altitude that way. The altitudes involved here are truly staggering. We have in one sector here a minimum of flight level 260. I'm afraid I'm going to have to put my bleeds on normal, I think, for us to be fully pressurized. I'm not even sure what the procedures are for all this, but we're going to, well, we're just going to give it a shot. So props are full forward. I don't think I can even turn around here, so what I'm going to have to do is just get ourselves positioned here as best we can. Oh boy. Oh wow. Alright, let me just spin us around, and this is more of a falling takeoff than a rolling takeoff here, but we'll see what we can do. I'm going to go full power here. It's going to be beeping at us because we're severely misconfigured, but take that for what it's worth, and then we're just going to launch our asses right down that mountain. And we're actually going to fall off the end of this runway, so don't be alarmed. Oh, and before we do that, we should probably set up MTOP for maximum takeoff power, in this case maximum continuous. Firewall our engines, and let the beeping begin. I'm actually going to nose this down a little bit here. Okay, here we go. And down we go.
Sync rate.
That's our stall warning.
Sync rate.
And gear up.
Sync rate.
And flaps 15. There we go. Trim down a little. And in a second we'll get on our course. But we first have to avoid some terrain. We'll turn ourselves to max climb so we don't roast our engines here. Trim down a little bit. Start bringing our flaps. Look out there. Wow. Alright. We don't have a ton of fuel. And here we go. Okay, we're above 10. I don't know if I like that. And I think we're just going to hand fly this whole thing. The approach into Paro, since we have to use runway 15, is a circling approach. And it's basically going to fly us over the airport, then we're going to make a left turn into a valley. We're going to come around that bowl, and then we're going to turn back to the right, do a button hook, and then make a right turn at the Buddhist temple, and then make a left turn at the mountain ridge and come right over the mountain ridge and make a very quick turn to final, in a nutshell. And let me just zoom out and see how low we can fly here. I don't want to spend all my time climbing and descending if I don't have to. Alright, so there we are. I'll be happy to level off right here, actually, so we'll do that. Bring in our flaps. Pop on our autopilot. Go to max cruise on the props. There we are. And this will be another flaps 35 arrival. Turn off our auto feather. And keep our pumps and everything else on. We're not going to do a hell of a lot more flying. We're basically going to be on the approach segment pretty darn quickly after this. Just want to get there, and we're doing this cold. I'm not sure I like the weather either. This is what our approach plate looks like. We fly to Tacti, then to Paro, which I really ought to tune in, 1084. We're going to fly it as an overlay, but we could just as easily fly it as a Blue Needle. Doesn't really matter, it's a circling approach anyway. And I have a sinking feeling that the weather is not going to be good enough, but what is life without adventure? 1084, we'll throw that in there. We'll also throw in the NDB for the airport, which is 410, and that'll roughly tell us we are at the airport. So throw that there. .410, and we'll make this one ADF1, ADF2. I guess we'll have to put it in ADF2. Alright, so make that 410.
2500.
Okay. And so far we're not picking it up yet, but that's okay. Take a look. Just look at this. That's pretty heavy-duty stuff, and look at where we came from. That's Mount Everest, and that's Mount way the hell up there. Anyway, and it's not like we're lacking for mountains to go into here. Again, on one side, our minimum is, I believe, 26,000. Let's check our airfield elevation too. 7333. Alright, so fly to Paro. We're going to come out, make a left turn to 328. we're going to fly to DME9, and instead of doing this missed approach, this is the approach into runway runway 9, instead we are going to make a left turn, staying visual. We're going to follow a river, keep it on our right, and then we're going to come on back. And I hope we fly into the right bowl. Alright, let's just take a look at what it looks like. Okay, so there is Paro, and that does not look right. As a matter of fact, I'm sure it's not right. So let's just see. It should be a left turn to 328. And that does not look good. So I think what we're going to do is we'll do this Blue Needles. So we're going to fly to TACT, and then we'll fly on the 360. Grab my heading bug first. There we go. Alright, that's good. And then we'll fly that 9 miles. And at that point, we will make our turn. Check our weather at our destination. First things first, zoom us out a bit. Alright, so all the nasty shit is to our left, but we're going to be turning into that shortly. We're flying almost due east right now. We're going to turn north, and that's north. Whereas south, you start to get into foothills, and then you get into plains. So we're just cooking along nicely here. Let me see what I got wrong here. Well, I don't know. TACT 357, then Pro, and I've got that reversed. That's what I've got. Let's see if I can redefine that. I'll bet you I can't. Let's delete it. At that point, we'll just, our work will be done. We'll be in Blue Needles. Matter of fact, if we're lucky, we'll be visual. Speaking of which, Paro 2997. This cloud scattered at 4,000. Well, it's not going to be good. Wind 190 at 8. Alright, well, we'll do what we can. Alright, there is our ADF. It is pointing at the airport. And like a moron, I'm thinking, why isn't there any distance information here? And then I realized, a moron, it's a non-directional beacon, there is no distance information. And then I thought, well, how very 1933, but there you have it. Did you know you could also, on some ADFs, depending on the frequency range, you can also navigate to AM radio stations and listen to the radio at the same time. Quite amazingly. Alright, well, there's VOR1, and I wonder if it doesn't have a DME. That would be bad. You know, it might not have a DME. Alright, well, you know. And there's Mrs. Smith's house. So anyway, there's the monastery. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the airport, and we're going to hug this side of the hill, and then we're going to loop around here, keep that on the right, and then we're going to cut just across the monastery here, and then we're going to cut across a little hill here and make a late right turn to final. So, should be fun. And let us see about our step downs. Okay. We need to hit the VOR at 13.5 and TAC-T at 16. Alright, well, let's climb to 16. Let's follow the procedure. Alt cell VS, and up we go. So TAC-T 16, then come down to 13.5 to the VOR. Alright, and this is 6,100 some feet above the airfield. Airport is at 7333, so let's set our elevation. 7333, so we'll make that 7,800. Give or take, there we go. Our cabin altitude is 2,000 feet. Alright, that's fine. Our seatbelt signs are on for the whole flight. Alright, so we have no distance information, but we're going to be going about 200 knots. And so we want to go 9 miles. So let's do the math here. Divided by 9. 22. You know, I got that backwards. Do a little back of the envelope calculation here. 200 miles. 1 hour times okay, divided by 9 miles. $240 is 4 miles a minute. 2.5, a little less than 3 minutes. Be a little more precise. It's late at night when I'm doing this. .33 miles per minute. So 9 divided by 3.33 equals 2.7 minutes. 0.7 times 60 is, okay, 2 minutes and 42 seconds. That's how long you need to fly, just in case we don't have DME information. Alright, let's set this down to 13.5. We're not going there yet, but we'll set it. So 13.5, there better be DME. So 13.5 by PRO. Hold the altitude. And circling 12.5. And then we have to start coming down. Alright. As soon as we're here, we can start coming down. And let's just see what kind of distance we have to go down. From Tacti to Paro is 15 miles, and we want to come down 3,000 feet. 2,500 feet. Alright. Well, first thing we'll do is, I don't know how we do transition altitudes in the mountains like this, but let's just get that squared away. Because otherwise we'd be setting a transition altitude, I don't know, 3,000 feet above the ground. I'm not sure that's the way they do it here. Okay, circle to land is 12.5. See, look at this. To our northeast of the field is 26,100 feet clear terrain. That's a spicy meatball, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, bring our bleeds to min. Lights are already on. Everything else is good to go. And, okay, let's start to come down. Roll off the power. Let the scenery load. Come on around. Bring our sorry selves down. I want to get below that cloud deck if I can. I just want to fly into a loaded cloud. I'm keeping an eye on my terrain warnings. 1,000 away. It says we're 12 miles to Paro. And at that point we'll set a heading of 328. Let's just get that squared away right now. So we can pop into heading select mode. 328. Okay, let's make sure we're going straight to Paro. Alright, now it wants us to be on the 360 radial, so let's do this. Let's switch our nav source and go into nav mode. There we go. Grab that VOR. We'll do that right. And then when we get to Paro, we'll go into heading mode. And we'll descend to 12.5. We're at 13.5 now. We're slowing. This could be fun. See? Oh, there is DME. Thank goodness. Okay. So there's Paro, and there's the airport. I should really have this chart clipped to my lap. So 328 to DME9, and then we're actually going to divert into that valley at 12.5. See, the FMS is putting in a direct route. I can't figure out how to fly a particular radial, so Paro at DME1 past Paro, we can come down to 12.5 for obvious reasons here. Okay, so we're 2 miles from our turn, and I'm going to go into heading select mode right now, actually, but I don't want to turn us yet, because we're not quite there yet. There we go. Now we'll go to 328. Okay. Now 1 DME passed, we can go down to 12.5. Okay, there's the field, you see? Right over there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go like way out here and come around. Get ourselves into a nice descent here. The reason why 12.5 is our circling limit is because of all this stuff around here. Mainly this low stuff. Alright, now that I'm visual, I'm just going to tweak our heading around just slightly here, because we're going to have to be hugging this side of the mountain in any case. And we just have to find an opportune time to make our right-hand turn. Now, that is the Buddhist temple. That's the little hill we're going to come over. We're actually going to turn around, then we're going to fly this way and that way, and then swoop over that little outcropping and make a left turn to final. So we have captured our altitude. Let's get some flaps in. And I think what I'm going to want to do is descend a little bit. Turn our flight director to standby. And remember, our airfield elevation is 7,300 feet.
Caution. Terrain.
Yeah, no
Caution.
kidding.
Terrain.
Let's see, how are we going to do this? I think we'll fly to about there
Terrain.
and turn into here. Yep, I know. Or maybe we'll go over that knoll there.
Caution. Terrain.
Alright, that should do it. Yeah, no kidding. I'm just going to inhibit this because I'm visual with everything. It may still scream at us. Bring our props forward. Give ourselves a little bit of drag. And we've got a nice long valley here, so we might as well take advantage of it. So I'm going to come over these two ridges here, and then I'm going to plunge down in a pretty stiff right-hand turn. Let me see how long I can gut it out. Okay, we're at 11. Oh crap. Alright, well, here we go. Little descending turn here. Let's see what kind of performance we can get out of the Mighty Dash. This is like flying into Nelson. Now luckily our alpha is kind of on the low side. Here we go. Woof. Alright, gear down. Okay, a little field and stream action. Bring in some more flippage. There we are. Very pretty. Thank you, Mr. Microsoft. Oh, crap. Hang on one second, my Easy Dock just quit. Damn it. What a great time for that to happen. Kill Easy Dock, there we go. You know, there are times I really like X-Plane, and this is one of them. But they do not have a Mighty Dash. Alright, there we go. There is the Buddhist temple. And there's the outcropping before we turn to final. Let's slow down to an approach speed. Stay nice and stable here. And our field should be right around that hill. There it is. So we'll fly to the temple, more or less. And then we will get our sweet selves. There we go. And we'll scrape the hillside right here.
Plus 100.
Sink rate.
Oh, I know.
Sink rate.
And now we'll make a nice graceful turn to final.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
A little high,
Sink rate.
but we're good.
Sink rate. Sink rate.
30. 20. 10.
Got a little crosswind going. There we are. Thumped it a bit, but we can live with it. And I do want to see that instant replay, because that was pretty slick. Little high. Let's give it a good amount of time here. Where's the mighty dash? There she is. Yeah, we could have come in even lower. We did that one cold, though. So you know what? Just float. And probably a little bit too much flare. See the nose down aspect from the Flaps 35? Yeah, we flared high. Look at that. Float on down. Not bad. Ooh, me likey. Beautiful airport. Alright, we'll try that one more time. The old chase plane view. Yeah, good looking airport. Nice. Did we hit the touchdown zone at all? Possibly not. Let's see. That's the end of it. Probably we just missed it. We're going a little fast, you see? Yep, landed long. Alright, well, welcome to Paro. And of course, how can you keep them down on the farm after they've seen Paro? Well, anyway, with the mighty dash and the Himalayas in the distance, we will call it a night, and see you next time.